Welcome to English Fluent Ears, your place for slow, easy, and relaxing English listening practice.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today.
Welcome to English Fluent Ears, your place for slow, easy, and relaxing English listening practice.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Leo, and a big hello to all our listeners. Today's story is about a journey that many of us fear. It's the journey of an ending and a new, unexpected beginning.
An ending. That can be a very scary word. We like things to be safe, to be predictable. We like to know what is coming next.
We do, but life doesn't always work that way. Today, we are not just teaching vocabulary, we are sharing a gentle story about a middle-aged man named David.
It's a story about losing everything you know and finding something you never expected. A story about hope and starting over.
And importantly for our listeners, this story is a wonderful way to practice storytelling in the past tense. We will also hear examples of simple, everyday dialogue.
I love that. So our listeners can just relax and follow along with the story.
Exactly. The language is slow, clear, and simple. Perfect for beginner and intermediate learners. You can listen many times. This is not a grammar lesson. It's a story.
And stories are one of the best ways to train your ears, your mouth, and your brain to think in English naturally. If you enjoy this story, please remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. It really helps us.
It does. So find a quiet place, take a deep breath, and let's begin this journey with David together. Our story begins with a man named David. He was 48 years old. For 25 years, he had a job. A good, stable job at a large company.
25 years. That is a very long time. It's not just a job at that point. It's his life.
It was his life. Every morning, he woke up at 6 a.m. He put on a nice shirt and tie. He drove the same road to the same large gray building. He sat in the same office chair.
He was David the manager. That was his identity.
Exactly. His work was important. He had meetings. He wrote reports. He was good at his job. It was not exciting, perhaps, but it was safe. It was predictable.
And one day, that predictable life changed.
It did. It was a Tuesday. A normal, gray Tuesday. He was called into a meeting. He thought it was a meeting about a new project.
He brought his notebook. He was ready to take notes.
Yes, but it was not that kind of meeting. Two people he did not know very well were sitting at the table. They looked very serious.
And they said the words. The hard words.
They said, "David, the company is changing. We are restructuring." They used a lot of business words, but the meaning was simple.
He lost his job.
He lost his job. After 25 years. In 10 minutes, it was over. They gave him a box for the things on his desk, his photos, his favorite coffee mug.
He walked out of that gray building for the last time. But it was only 11 a.m. The sun was shining, the world was moving. But David felt empty.
He drove home. He walked inside. His wife was at work. His children were at school. The house was silent. He sat on his sofa, still in his nice shirt and tie, and he just sat.
He was not David the manager anymore. He was just David. And he didn't know who that was.
The next few weeks were a blur. A blur is a good word. It means things were unclear and passed by very quickly, but also very slowly.
It's a very strange feeling. The world continues, but you are standing still.
David tried to be productive. He woke up, but he didn't put on a tie. He wore his pajamas. He watched television. He sent his resume to other companies. but his heart was not in it.
He felt old. He felt useless.
He did. His family was kind. His wife said, "It's okay, David. We will be fine. Take your time." But he just felt lost. The silence in the house was too loud.
This is a good time to notice the English, Mia. You are using the simple past tense.
I am. When we tell stories about the past, we use this tense. We say, he felt, he watched, she said. It tells our listeners that these actions are finished.
It's the most common way to tell a story. So, David was lost. What happened next?
One afternoon, he couldn't stay inside anymore. He just started walking. He walked with no destination. He walked for an hour through neighborhoods he never usually saw.
He was just trying to feel something.
Yes, and he turned a corner onto a small, quiet street, and he saw it. A small shop. It was empty. It was dirty. There was an old, faded "For Rent" sign in the window.
It was forgotten, just like he felt.
Exactly. But David stopped. He looked at this small, sad shop. And he remembered something.
What?
A dream. A very, very old dream. From before the Gray Building. A dream he had when he was a young man. He always wanted to open a small cafe.
Oh wow. Not a big business. Just a small neighborhood cafe.
Yes. A place with good coffee, warm bread, and comfortable chairs. A place where people could come and be.
That's a big, scary idea for a man with no job.
It was. His logical manager brain said, "It's a bad idea. It's too much risk. You don't know how to make coffee."
But his heart said something different.
His heart was tired of being logical and safe. He stood in front of that dusty window for a long time. Then, he took out his phone, and he called the number on the "For Rent" sign. The next 2 months were the hardest of his life. And the best.
He decided to do it. He used his savings.
He signed the lease. He told his family. They were worried, but they saw something in his eyes they hadn't seen in a long time.
A spark.
A spark. He did not hire expensive builders. He did the work himself. He woke up at 6 a.m. again, but this time he put on old jeans and a t-shirt.
He painted the walls. He sanded the old wooden floor. He learned how to fix a broken pipe from a video on the internet.
He was tired every night. His back hurt. His hands were covered in paint. He was terrified.
But he was not empty.
He was not empty. He bought a used coffee machine. He found old wooden tables at a secondhand store. He named it the Second Chance Café.
That's a perfect name.
Finally, the day came. He turned the sign on the door. It said "Open."
And what happened? Was it full of people?
It was very quiet.
Oh no.
He stood behind the counter. He waited and waited. At 10 a.m., one man came in and bought one black coffee. David's hands were shaking as he gave him the change.
By the end of the day, he had only 5 customers.
He went home that night and thought, "I've made a terrible mistake. I'm a failure. Again." But the next morning, he woke up. He put on his apron, and he went back. He opened the cafe.
He was learning a new kind of strength. Not corporate strength, just the strength to show up.
Yes. And this is when the story really begins. This is when David met the people who changed his life.
Who was the first person?
The first person was an elderly woman named Alara. She walked in very slowly, with a cane. She looked around and chose the smallest table by the window.
David went over. "Good morning," he said. "Can I get you something?"
And here is our first example of everyday dialogue. It's not complicated. It's just real. Alara looked up and smiled. She said, "Just a simple cup of tea, young man. And maybe a quiet place to sit?"
Just a simple cup of tea. A very normal, everyday phrase.
David brought her the tea. She drank it very, very slowly. She stayed for 1 hour. When she left, she pats David's hand. "This is a lovely place," she said. "I'll be back tomorrow."
And was she?
She was. Every day, at 10 a.m., David learned that Alara's husband had passed away last year. She was lonely. She didn't come for the tea. She came for the company. She came to have a simple, kind conversation.
She was David's first regular. She taught him his new job was not just about coffee. It was about listening.
Exactly. Then, a few days later, a young man came in. He looked stressed. He was a university student named Ben.
Ben slammed his backpack on a table. He opened his laptop. He looked angry.
David watched him for a minute. Then he walked over. This is our next dialogue example. David said, "Rough day?"
Rough day? That's a great, simple conversation starter.
Ben looked up. He was surprised. "Yeah," he said. "I have 3 exams. I'm so stressed. I just need coffee."
David smiled. He went back to the counter. He came back with a coffee and also a large cookie. He put them on the table.
"The cookie is on the house," David said. On the house is a great idiom. It means...
It means it's free.
Exactly. David said, "The cookie is on the house. You look like you need it. Just remember to breathe."
Ben stared at him. Then he smiled. A real, grateful smile. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you so much."
Ben became the cafe's second regular. He brought his friends. The cafe became the study spot. David wasn't their manager. He was their friend. He listened to their worries. He gave them free cookies.
He was becoming a part of their lives.
And then Maria arrived. She was a young artist. She had a large, flat portfolio. She came in, bought a coffee, and sat looking at the big, empty white wall.
David had been so busy, he hadn't thought about art.
Maria came up to the counter. She was very shy. "Excuse me," she said. "This is a strange question, but I'm an artist. I have no place to show my work. I really love your wall."
David looked at his empty wall, and he looked at this young, hopeful artist.
He laughed. "Be my guest," he said. "I don't have any money to pay you."
"I don't want money," Maria said. "I just want a wall."
The next weekend, Maria hung up 3 large, beautiful, colorful paintings.
And suddenly, the cafe was not just a room. It was a gallery. It had life.
6 months passed.
Let's imagine the scene. What did the Second Chance Cafe look like now?
It was transformed. It was always full. Maria's art was all over the walls. Other artists asked to hang their work too.
In the corner, Alara was sitting at her table, talking to another regular. Ben and his friends were studying, but they were also laughing.
The air was not silent. It was full of the sound of the coffee machine, the sound of music, and the sound of conversation.
And where was David?
David was behind the counter. He was wearing his simple white apron. He was wiping down the counter. He was laughing at a joke Ben told him.
He wasn't David the manager. He was just David.
Yes. And one afternoon, a man in a nice suit came in. He looked around, a little lost.
He was from David's old life.
He was. It was a man who used to work for David. "David?" the man said. "Is that you? I heard you left the company. What are you doing here?"
He was confused. He saw his old boss, a director, wiping tables.
David smiled. A real, calm, happy smile. He gestured to the room. I'm making coffee, David said. I'm listening to stories. I'm hanging art.
He paused, and then he said the most important thing. I guess I'm happy.
The man didn't understand, but David did. He realized his old job gave him a salary, but this new job, this new life, it gave him a purpose.
His old job was about status. This new job was about connection.
He hadn't failed. He hadn't lost anything important. He had found his new beginning. He had started over, and it was better than he could have imagined.
That is such a wonderful and hopeful story, Mia. He wasn't a manager. He was just David. That's so powerful.
It is. It shows that our value is not in our job title. Our value is in our connection to other people.
And it's a perfect example of how to tell a story using the past tense. We heard David's whole journey.
Exactly. And that brings us to our practice tip for today. For all our listeners, we want you to practice this skill.
We want you to be a storyteller, just like Mia.
Yes. Your challenge is to tell a small moment story in the simple past tense.
A small moment story? What do you mean?
Don't try to tell your whole life story. Just one small moment from yesterday or last week.
For example, yesterday, I went to the park.
Perfect. And add 3 more details. I went to the park. I sat on a bench. I watched the dogs play. It was a nice day.
Ah, I see. It's a small, complete story. I made dinner last night. I tried a new recipe. I burned the chicken. My family laughed.
Exactly. That is a perfect story. It uses the past tense. It's clear. And it's real.
So the challenge is to write, or just to say, your own 3 or 4 sentence story about the past.
Yes. It's the best way to get comfortable with the past tense. And it's a wonderful way to practice your English.
That was a wonderful lesson, Mia. Thank you for sharing David's story.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today on English Fluent Ears.
Yes, thank you. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next one.
And we would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below. You can practice your English. Tell us, what is one small happy moment from your past week?
We would love to read your stories. Until next time, keep practicing.
And have a wonderful day. Bye for now, everyone.
Goodbye.
If you liked this story,
Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories like this one. Bye.